From the Florence Open, British golf.
Welcome back to Sportsworld. What a day it was in racing. It was highlighted in Sydney with the Doncaster Handicap and the AJC Derby. A remarkable performance by Superimpose. It's got everybody in Australia talking. What a horse he is over a mile at Randwick. But Keith Hillier, what happened the week before in the BMW where he was tailed off last?
Yes, that was amazing, Bruce. He finished almost 20 lengths behind the winner, Dr. Grace, and surely now the AJC stewards must conduct a full inquiry into that race. I know that they're awaiting on some tests taken from Superimpose, but I've been on the phone around Sydney today, and the talk around the tracks is that something was terribly wrong on that occasion, the BMW, and the rumours are rife, and they must be put to rest by the AJC, because such a great horse to finish, like he could have run a race like that just straight from the paddock, Bruce, and yet he showed his brilliance yesterday. So something must be done to satisfy punters who laid 2 to 1 on that day and lost their money. And it did take a lot of the gloss off one of the great racing performances yesterday, didn't it? Well,
it was a remarkable performance. I mean, he joins Chatham and Blue Legend as horses that have been able to win the mile 3 times at Randwick. And, I mean, the fact that he jarred up the week before is not really the excuse I think the punters want, because he was beaten out of sight, and he's a horse that does handle very hard tracks very well.
Yes, yes, and I think that John Schreck will now get onto that, because something was wrong, and it had happened, similar things had happened before in Sydney, and there was something found to be wrong on those occasions too, and I suspect that something similar happened to Superimpose in the BMW.
OK, well, we'll hear more about that during the week. That's really a controversial note in racing. The Derby, Surfers Paradise, beaten yesterday, had no luck in the run. I thought it was just the most magnificent ride by Greg Hall on Durbridge. He did not put a foot wrong, did he?
Well, he had a favourable barrier, and he certainly used it to its greatest advantage. It was a gem of a ride. Lance O'Sullivan was caught wide. Surprisingly, Lance said that he was happy to be out 3 or 4 horses. He was thinking he was missing some of the mess close to the rails, but that's where the G was, and that's what won the Derby for Durbridge in the ride of his life, I reckon.
Yeah, it was. What a ride it was by Greg Hall. Let's go to the Derby. It's worth $1.3 million. Surfers Paradise is a favourite. He's about to be set alight. He's been covering ground. Durbridge in the pink, smoking the pipe, and about 5th place on the fence.
Play on, led over Marine Drive, and there goes Surfers Paradise moving up towards the lead. Cool Reception 4 deep, Count de Beers is 5 wide. On the fence, Durbridge, who hasn't spent a cent so far. And then French Defence and Steineck, and further back is Seabit as they come around the turn, followed by Garter King. At the head of the others, under plenty of pressure, Centro. So is Mountain Rule, followed by Shot of Comfort and Siegfried as they turn the corner. Heads a turn for home in the Derby. It's Play on, Marine Drive, Surfers Paradise and Cool Reception on the extreme outside. Here's Durbridge now. Durbridge switches across the heels of those leaders, and he's going after them as they come to the 200. Surfers Paradise is gone. Cool Reception, the leader. Durbridge trying to get to him. Mountain Rule is running on strongly. Cool Reception tackled by Durbridge. Mountain Rule can't get to them. Durbridge hit the front from Cool Reception. Mountain Rule trying his heart out on the outside, but it's Durbridge's Derby. Durbridge won the Derby from Cool Reception and Mountain Rule on the outside.
Well, he's been a huge improver, Keith. He didn't really ping away, did he? He had a great run, but he took a while to get Cool Reception.
Yes, those, I think the 2nd, 3rd and 4th place getters were all virtually 100 to 1 shots, and they did stick, didn't they? But he finally wore them down, and I think that maybe that Surfers Paradise is a brilliant horse up to 2,000 metres. I think he showed a staying chink in his armour yesterday. Incidentally, Jimmy Cassidy out until the 11th of April for knocking Centro down.
I reckon Surfers Paradise will still be a Cox Plate horse, which is 2,000 metres. That's his distance, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Brilliant horse at a mile, mile and a quarter. Well, after the race, Cameron Williams caught up with Greg Hall, and they talked about the improvement in Durbridge and maybe the future Caulfield Cups, Melbourne Cups.
Improving horse. I won the Sandown Guineas on him some 8 or 9 months ago, and you wouldn't class it as a top race, but each time he's raced this horse, he's just improved. And now he's shown his true colours as he beat Triesco, and he's beat a good field here today, and I really do think he could develop into a Caulfield Cup horse, you know.
Well, he's got a very good sprint at the finish. Do you think he's a genuine stayer?
Yeah, there's no doubt about him over a mile and a half, but until they run I think he'll run 2 miles, but until they do, you never know, because there's a big difference.
Yes, there is a big difference. One horse that we've seen run 2 miles is Superimpose. It's remarkable when you think back that he did run 2nd in the Melbourne Cup now, when you consider that he's won the Doncaster twice and the Epsom.
Yes, and no horse had done that since 1946, 1947. It was an amazing run, and with a big weight. Weight is not a burden at all to him, is it?
And the track was interesting because, you know, in the old days, Lee Freedman refused to race him on anything that wasn't hard, but suddenly he's been able to win 2 Doncasters on shifting tracks.
Yes, and he raced in a similar pattern to the way he was ridden similarly yesterday by Darren Beatman to the way he won last year, Bruce. A fantastic performance, and Lee Freedman rated him the best post-war handicapper that Australian racing has seen.
Well, I guess you could get into an argument over that, but it would take some tossing. What a performance, what a horse. They say it's the toughest race in Australia to win, the Doncaster. Let's go to the races and superimpose as last when we pick them up.
Bold Rancher second last, and Superimpose, as he was this day last year, is absolute last as the Doncaster field goes to the 800 mark. And with the inside running, Domino just led Spot the Rock and Quicksilver Cindy on the outside. A length away, St Jude on the fence, followed by Sir Patrick and then Greenback. Further back in the field as they come up to the turn, Liverstone Lane, Dark Bow is out 3 deep, and then Shaftesbury Avenue, Post Elect, Ricochet, Rosie, Stylish Century from the Planet. Further back is Royal Creation, followed by Mocker, and Comrade is wide on the turn. Into the straight towards the 400, Spot the Rock and Quicksilver Cindy are the 2 leaders coming over the rise. St Jude pulled out as going up to them quickly. His Post Elect putting in a run further out from the Planet, followed by Ricochet, Rosie. Superimpose right down the outside. Here comes the top weight at the 200. St Jude, Liverstone Lane burst through on the rail. Superimpose down the outside. Liverstone Lane in front, but go Super. Superimpose is mowing down Liverstone Lane. Superimpose has done it again. He's done it again. Superimpose beat Liverstone Lane. Third either Royal Creation or Shaftesbury Avenue.
Well, Keith, I guess it happens about half a dozen times in a year when you get those tingles at the racetrack. That was one of them.
And for me too. Great run. Shaftesbury Avenue was a big run, and Liverstone Alone, always a bridesmaid, isn't he? He's so honest, but he always finds one to beat him in the big ones.
Well, Kesson beat him in the Hong Kong Cup by about a short half head, but he had every chance, didn't he? He's got through on the fence. And dear old Super, with his 9 stone 5 and all, was able to wear him down.
Yeah, really exciting, good stuff.
And you can imagine what Lee Freedman was like after the race. He talks with Cameron Williams.
I said history had repeated itself, and it did. The weather was the same, the way it was ridden was the same, everything was exactly the same.
I guess it makes the Rose Hill performance last weekend all the more mystifying, doesn't it?
It does. It was a huge worry to us all week, but it was a race I knew he could win all along, despite the weight. Weight doesn't worry this horse in handicaps. He just sprints with it anyway. And I sort of got talked around into the BMW and got caught up in the hype a bit and decided to run. And I'm not blaming him. I was happy to run, but I'm happy to win this.
Well, he's the best miler in Australia. What to do with him now?
Just wait for the next big mile, I suppose.
I reckon I know what he's waiting for. Better loosen up.
Yeah.
I reckon he'd love to take him on again, don't you?
I think he would too.
Let's hope it happens.
Yes. I spoke with Gabe Farrer, the senior part owner of Better Loosen Up at the races yesterday, Bruce, and he's still got some quiet confidence that the horse will come back.
Oh, let's hope he does. I mean, the thing about Superimpose too, he's just so versatile. We're about to look at how much prize money he's won, Keith. He's number 2 on the all-time list. They're all the modern-day champs, obviously, because of the prize money escalation. But he's right up there. He's gone past Horlicks and past Vo Rogue and past Poetic Prince now. Second only to Better Loosen Up.
It's a great... It's like your contract at this station, Bruce. Some great horses listed there. Strawberry Road's still hanging in. It's been a while since he's been on the scene.
I'm glad I'm a modern-day commentator. You've been looking at something that I don't know about, Keith. Let's go to the chairman's handicap. I want to leave that subject completely. Bit of an upset here. Dr. Grace didn't really fire, did he?
No.
I think he beat Superimpose last week by 20 lengths.
Right, and I'll tell you what, this horse, Prize that won the race, that was a very good Sydney Cup trial. I think he's in the Sydney Cup with a big chance next Saturday.
He is, and it was Mick Dittman at his best, front-running ride, and he used this horse's stamina, and he does look a Sydney Cup horse, and who knows, he might be a Melbourne Cup horse as well.
Dittman makes this a real stayers race on Prazan. He's kicked away 2 lengths on King Aussie. Our Magic Man under the whip in 3rd place, followed by String Quartet and then Church Street, Arjamon, Just a Dancer. Further back, Anybody Home and Dr. Grace making heavy weather of it as they turn the corner. At the 400 mark, Prazan is well clear, led by 2 lengths to String Quartet in 2nd place, looking a danger. And then Church Street, followed by Fill the Bill. Further back, King Aussie and Dr. Grace. Coming to the 200, Prazan still in front. String Quartet ducked in behind him, 3 lengths away. Fill the Bill. Dittman has ridden this an absolute treat, Prazan. He's going further ahead now. Gee, this horse can stay. Prazan is putting a gap in them in the last 50 metres and he kills them. Prazan wins by 3 lengths to String Quartet. Fill the Bill 3rd, followed by...
So suddenly the Sydney Cup's not only Dr. Grace versus Castletown, throw Prazan in as well.
Yes, Prazan has only 51 kilos in the Cup, and as Johnny Tapp said in the call then, he's showing staying qualities. He's going to be very hard to beat.
What about the Doctor?
Mystifying run yesterday, but he'll improve. I think he's a very good horse.
Yes, he's a strong star. There's no question about that. Castletown runs tomorrow in the Queen Elizabeth, so we'll get a guide to that. Well, in Victoria, yesterday, the big race was the Victoria Handicap at Caulfield. There's a time-honoured event always run at Easter time, and the favourite was Begone, who'd almost run records at his last start at Flemington in winning, but not yesterday. He was beaten on the home turn, and Solemn Oath came with a strong run.
Chances on the home turn. Benbara King has gone up very quickly out wide to tackle Begone. Zapari in the centre, wider on the track. Isla's coming at them very quickly, and down the outside is Dark Coker putting in a run. Begone being tackled by Zapari. Isla's down the outside. Rare Chance looking for a run on the inside. Now it's Isles, Zapari and Solemn Oath from a long way back. Anybody's race close to home. Zapari tackled by Solemn Oath down the outside, and Isles they get close to home. Solemn Oath on the outside has done best. Solemn Oath has won it from Isles. Zapari third, Brackenley fourth.
Good to see battling Gary Skinner, the jockey, win there, and John Hawkes is talking Goodwood handicaps. What about tomorrow, Keith? It's a huge day in racing, isn't it?
Yes, well, the AJC sires at Randwick, Bruce, the 3 place getters in the Golden Slipper line up there. I think Tierce will win again, but I do like Joanne and the Galaxy. She's my bet for the Easter Monday racing. She has been freshened up, and I think she'll win the Galaxy.
OK, and we've got Oakbank in Adelaide with the Great Eastern Steeplechase. There'll be 70,000 people there, so it's a huge day in racing, and we'll have the highlights next week. Congratulations to Cameron Williams for winning the George Ryder Award, this award for Golden Slipper Stories. Cameron brought up a hat-trick, Keith, with his story on the young trainers, Sterling Smith, Graham Begg and David Hayes.
That was a great story and well-deserved of an award. Well done, Cameron.
Yeah, so Cameron getting that George Ryder Award. Keith, good punting. There's plenty of races to bet on in the next week. We hope that you're successful.
OK, Bruce, see you next Sunday.
And I'll be with you with Joanne tomorrow because you're a good judge, Keithy. We'll take a break and back with more after this.